Your first trip to Japan can seem very daunting. What do you do? How long do you stay? How to navigate the trains? There is literally a mountain of information available on traveling Japan, and it can be very helpful, but also extremely overwhelming.
Today, we're going to break down everything that you need to know in order to visit Japan. Whether you're a first-time traveler or a seasoned veteran, we hope there's something that you can take away from this video that's going to make your trip even better.
First things first, you're going to need a place to gather your thoughts. I highly suggest creating a Google Doc, just a place where you can gather your thoughts, organize, and create a rough itinerary for things that you want to do while you're visiting Japan. It's just a great way to keep your thoughts organized, and a bonus to this is anyone in your group, if you are traveling in a group, can make edits to this Google Doc for everyone to see as well.
The first thing that we usually like to do is book our flight. This is the hardest part to do monetarily because flights to Japan right now from the US are crazy expensive. We personally like to fly with Delta because we've never had a bad experience with them, but you can choose whatever airline fits your specific needs. When flying into Japan, you're going to land at one of two airports. That's either Haneda or Narita. Haneda is located in the center of Tokyo, so it's very little travel time after you land to get to your next destination. Narita, however, is located in Chiba Prefecture, about an hour away from Tokyo's downtown.
We're going to assume that you're landing at Haneda. So any directions we give, like where to find things, are going to be based on Haneda and not Narita. First thing you're going to do when you land, you're going to get off of your airplane and you're going to take a very long hallway when you get up to customs. The easiest way to get through customs instead of filling out the little forms that they give you is to go to the Visit Japan web app. In here, you will fill out your information like where you're going, any passport information, what your flight number is, and it will generate a QR code for you. Now, what you do with this QR code is you will scan this whenever prompted instead of giving them that annoying piece of paper that they'll have you fill out. This speeds up the process exponentially, and you can kind of feel superior to anyone filling out their little written form.
So with the Visit Japan web app, you want to do this before you board your flight. That way you have no problems with the in-flight Wi-Fi, and you can rest assured that your information is going to save and you're going to have it all ready by the time you land at Haneda.
Once this QR code does pop up and you're on the website, I highly suggest logging in on your phone and taking a screenshot for easy access.
Before we get any further, let's establish where you want to go in Japan. Japan is a lot bigger than people seem to give it credit for. There's a lot of places to go and things to do. Typically on your first trip, you can take what is called the Golden Route. The Golden Route consists of 3 cities. That's Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. There's a lot to see and do in every single one of these cities, and you will not be disappointed a single bit. We personally like to stay in 3 cities max when staying for at least 2 weeks. It gives you plenty of time to see and do a lot of things, and it gives you more time in each city so you don't have to rush things.
Next, we're going to talk about overplanning. One thing I see a lot while browsing Japan subreddits about travel is people have these itineraries that are miles long. And that's cool. That's great if that's what you're into. But I would highly suggest limiting it down. The last thing you want to do if you're on a vacation is be stressed out about making times for something. Things can and will go wrong. You have to keep that in mind. So keep the itinerary fairly light. Put in big things that you want to see, maybe early on in the day or late at night, and leave a good portion of it open for things like exploration, because a lot of the times I have seen some amazing things, had some great experiences while just wandering around. Another big important tip is to leave days for resting. You're going to be walking a ton. I think on our first full day in Japan, we did somewhere between 36 and 40,000 steps. I mean, we were toasted by the end of the day. So resting is very important. If you pack this itinerary full, you're not going to have time to rest. You might get grumpy, and that's just not a fun time on a trip. Make sure your shoes are up to par. You don't want to be walking around on cement blocks. Break them in before you get to Japan.
With all that being said, we're just going to list off a couple things that you might want to see on your first trip to Japan. In Tokyo, there's Tokyo Tower or Tokyo Skytree, the Imperial Palace, Tokyo Station, Sensoji, Harajuku, Meiji Jingu, Golden Gai, and Shibuya Crossing. In Kyoto, you do not want to miss Kiyomizu-dera, Fushimi Inari, Ginkakuji, Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, Gion District, and Yasaka Shrine. And don't forget to spend some quality relaxation time by the Kamo River. In Osaka, you can visit Dotonbori, Osaka Castle, Umeda Sky Building, Abe no Harukasu 300, and the Osaka Aquarium. These are just a few things that you can do in each of these cities, but I highly suggest you go do your own research and figure out what exactly fits your needs the best.
Booking hotels for a trip is probably one of the most fun parts because there are just so many options. There are a ton of options when it comes to choosing who you want to book through, and our personal favorite when we go to Japan is Agoda. Anytime we've gone to Japan, we have booked through Agoda. They have great prices, an easy to navigate website, an amazing cancellation policy, and they have pay on arrival, which is exactly as it sounds like. You pay for the hotel when you get to the hotel. Another popular option for booking hotels that I see on places like Reddit and anywhere on the internet is Airbnb. Now, we personally have never used Airbnbs in Japan, but I haven't heard anything crazy bad about them, so do whatever you're comfortable with.
One of the last, but certainly not least important things that you want to do when going to Japan is rent a pocket Wi-Fi. You'll be in a different country, so odds are your cellular provider might not have service, and it won't be that great anyway. Having a pocket Wi-Fi allows you to have easy access to the internet whenever you want and wherever you want. We've both used it every single time we've gone to Japan, and we suggest doing that over the SIM card. The SIM card does the exact same thing as the pocket Wi-Fi, but with the pocket Wi-Fi, you don't need to hassle with your phone or change SIM cards or get in the internals and make things more complicated. All you have to do is type in the password, and boom, you're connected to the internet.
Luggage is something that we still haven't totally figured out when traveling to Japan. Typically, I would bring a pretty large suitcase with me, but I quickly found out that that is a huge pain in the ass. It didn't fit in the overhead on the Shinkansen, so I had to book a seat in the back in the oversized luggage compartment. Going up and down the stairs to the subways and the trains was really annoying because I had this big heavy suitcase with me. I couldn't put it in coin lockers out in the city because it was too big to fit in the coin lockers. So I suggest bringing a smaller size suitcase if you're going to be walking around with it. Pack fairly light, but not too light. Probably enough for 1 week of clothes. And after that, you can go to a coin laundromat, which are located pretty much everywhere. Do your laundry so you don't have to worry about bringing 2 weeks worth of clothes into this little suitcase.
If you're concerned about bringing souvenirs home, we've got you covered. A really great thing to do is when you bring your small suitcase, you can go to a store called Don Quixote and buy very cheap, very large suitcases to store all your goodies in and bring them home, no hassle. I recommend doing this towards the tail end of your trip because, like we mentioned earlier, you don't want to lug around a big suitcase, and you especially don't want to lug around 2 big suitcases. So try and save it for the end of your trip. Keep all your goodies that you purchase in other cities in other bags in your suitcase if you could fit it, and right at the tail end of your trip, go check out a Don Quixote and go gift shopping galore. Now, if you have the additional funds to spend and you don't want to lug around your luggage, there is a service that Japan provides called Takubin. This is pretty much a luggage forwarding service from hotel to hotel, where it allows you to just ship your suitcase to another hotel. That way you don't have to deal with it on the Shinkansen, you don't have to deal with it in the city, and you can rest assured that it's going to get there because it's being handled by professionals and will get there on time. Now us, we've never used Takubin. Personally, I'm a little nervous to use it, but there are tons and tons of videos explaining exactly how to do it, and I think next time we go, we're going to try it out for the first time, and we'll let you know how it goes.
The next big hurdle you're going to need to go over is whether or not you should buy the JR Rail Pass. Now, what is the JR Rail Pass? The JR Rail Pass is a ticket you will pick up from Tokyo Station after you buy it before your trip that allows you to ride on JR trains only, essentially for free. I mean, you pay for it, but you don't have to go to a ticket booth or load a Suica card or anything like that. Keep in mind that the JR Rail Pass does not work on Nozomi trains. We made the mistake of getting on a Nozomi train with the JR Rail Pass, so don't do that. It sounds like an awesome deal, and you're probably thinking, why would I not do this? Well, one big reason why you might not want to do this is it probably is not worth it monetarily. The price for the JR Rail Pass has skyrocketed in the last couple years. One thing you can do is go online to a handy calculator that will tell you whether or not it is worth it for you to buy the JR Rail Pass. You'll put in your cities, and it will pretty much say, yup, you're good to go, you should get the JR Rail Pass. I'm leaving for Japan in, 3 weeks, and I decided against the JR Rail Pass. And the last time I went in October, I decided against it as well, because it really just isn't worth it. This trip right now that I'm doing is the golden route, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and I still decided against it because it is just way too much money for the small trips that I'm going to be taking on the Shinkansen. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to buy that or not.
Now, I'm sure if you've already looked into going to Japan, you've heard the stories about the Tokyo subway system being an absolute monster. And it is, but it's not as bad as you think it is. Your first time on the subway is probably going to be extremely daunting, extremely stressful, you're not going to know where to go, and you're going to mess up. It's guaranteed. But the more you take it, the more comfortable you'll become, and you'll come to find that it's really not that complicated. Google Maps and Apple Maps are going to be your best friends when navigating the trains. They give you step-by-step guides on what lines to take, what colors to take, what numbers you can follow, and exactly what time the train will arrive and depart.
Okay, so we got a lot of the basic things out of the way. Now let's circle back to the airport. You've just cleared customs, you are officially in Japan, and you're ready to go. But there's still a few steps before you can go explore. You need to go pick up your Wi-Fi from the Wi-Fi counter. There are a few places where you can pick it up. There will be directions on the website from wherever you order your Wi-Fi from on how to get to the counter to pick up your Wi-Fi.
And when picking up your Wi-Fi, if you do find yourself lost, do not be afraid to go ask a staff member. Most people at the airport speak really good English, and they're going to give you great directions on how to find whatever it is you are looking for.
Next, you're going to need cash, and I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not go to a currency exchange. You will be burned and you will lose money. At Haneda Airport, right when you get out of the gates, you'll walk forward a little bit. You'll look to your left, there's going to be a bunch of ticket machines, and to your right, there's a hallway with a currency exchange. Across from that currency exchange is an ATM. What you'll want to do when you get cash out of Japan, always, is use the ATMs. They have the best exchange rate, very easy to use, and they accept pretty much any credit or debit card. The best part about ATMs is they're located at every konbini. And how frequent are konbinis? They're fucking everywhere. You cannot miss them. So you always have access to cash through the ATMs.
So you got your cash in hand, you got your Wi-Fi, it's time to get out of the airport. Now how do you do that? First thing you want to do is pick up a train card. This can be the Ikoka, the Suica, the Passmo, whatever one you can find is a great option. They all work really well. What you can also get is called a Welcome Suica. It's a 14-day pass and allows you to travel the trains just like it would any other Suica or Passmo or Ikoka card. Another great option is either downloading the Suica app or adding these cards to your phone's wallet so they're always with you and you don't have to worry about losing anything.
Just a few useful tips before we kind of close out here. You should know some rules, some of the laws, some of the etiquette, and a touch of the language. All of these things are going to make your time a lot easier. Like, for example, if you are a tourist, you are supposed to have your passport on you at all times. If you get caught without it, you can get in trouble, and you don't want to get in trouble on your vacation. Knowing a little bit of Japanese can take you a very long way, from mildly talking to people, helping order, or asking for directions. And knowing a little bit of etiquette can keep you from looking like the typical dumb tourist.
So 2 of the additional resources we like to use for information is YouTube, which has everything you could ever need, or the Travel Japan subreddit. It's a large forum where you can ask questions, find guides, or get helpful tips on anything related to traveling Japan.
We hope you guys found some very helpful information on planning your first trip to Japan. And if you do go, let us know that you went, let us know what you saw, and let us know how much fun you had. Since I will be in Japan in about 3 weeks, I'll be putting up shorts and whatever. So if you have any questions, 100% feel free to reach out for someone who is in Japan at the moment.
If you guys found any of this information helpful or informative, leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button so you guys never miss a video from Skish. And if you are planning to go to Japan, we hope you have a great time. We know you're going to love it, and we hope to hear all about it after your trip.
Can we take him home? Oh God. You're cold, they're cold. Put them in your mouth.